Flirties, back on the show for our dating and flirting horoscope for the coming season. It's Fernie. You know him as the magic mystic of the internet, your favorite fortune teller and astrologer, here today to have a conversation with us about what the stars and planets have in store for our dates, our flirts, and our relationships. Fernie, hello and welcome back to the show.
Hola, mi amor. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. These are just the most gorgeous times. I love flirting. I love
Yes.
love. And just being with you and being able to share this with all of the flirties makes my heart so happy. I spent some time in the morning in my
Yes.
garden
Mm-hmm.
preparing and getting all of the floral energy to pass that loveliness back to the flirties and back to you.
I'm so glad you're back. Fernie comes on the show every solstice and equinox to give us our dating horoscope. This is, I've lost count at this point. Your sixth time, I think,
Who
on the
knows? It's
show.
been a gorgeous time all the time. So let's just say that.
Yeah, and we checked in before hitting record. You're spending some time in the garden on this beautiful day, tending to some herbs, some lemon verbena. What else was
Yes.
in there?
So we got rosemary because rosemary
Whew.
is great for protection. It's also
Mm-hmm.
like a really beautifying herb. Like if
Yes.
your hair needs some like shine, make
Mm,
yourself a little rosemary shampoo. It works
mm-hmm.
gorgeously. We obviously have roses because I mean,
Yes.
duh. We have
Mm-hmm.
bougainvillea. We have how do you say it in English? How my guff hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
I'm like, what are these words? We have orange. We have all sorts of
Wow.
little witchy herbs to make the garden
I
just
love
gorgeous.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
And for all the flirties listening, rather than watching on YouTube, which you can watch these conversations now, if you could please describe this. This might be, I mean, I say this every time, but this one might be my most favorite caftan
Oh
you've
my
ever
God.
worn.
I wore her specifically for you today because we're going to
Yes.
be talking about Libra season, and I was like, I
Oh
need to
my
be busting
gosh.
out the pink and
Mhm.
gold carpet for you. So we have a pink and gold little floral damask number.
Oh,
She's satin, she's embossed.
gorgeous.
We have our little cherry blossom necklace.
Yes.
We are just
It is
giving the floral
fabulous.
fantasy.
Oh my gosh. And I am feeling it completely. I know the flirties are getting it through their speakers, through their earbuds, however they're taking in this conversation. We're going to get to know you a little bit more in a moment. I know you. Some of the flirties do as well. But for the flirties tuning in to our first conversation together, what is one of your favorite things about flirting, Fernie?
I just love desire. I think you and
Okay.
I have spoken a lot about desire and like how pleasure is like a right and like how we should be just
Yes.
desiring things. And I
Hmm.
think when I think about flirting, I think about like the inception of desire and how like
Mm.
desire just like motivates us and pushes us.
Mm.
And I think flirting allows us to really get our desires out into the universe, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that you do really well is that you talk about like how the flirt doesn't necessarily have to lead to anything,
Mm.
right? Like sometimes it
Yeah.
is literally just the flirt. And so
Hmm.
I think like that really speaks to like why I love you so much because
Mm.
I do think that like flirting is a lot about like that creative spark, that little
Mm.
bit of desire that allows us to
Hmm.
go out into the world. Like I dress like this because I want to flirt with all the
Yeah.
world. And I just think that like that pleasure, that desire is really what
Yes.
makes me just love flirting so much.
Desire and pleasure is a right. Yes.
Yes, pleasure is a right.
That was one of the biggest themes on one of our first conversations. I feel like it was either the spring or autumnal episode of last year for
Yeah.
2024. Yeah, really exploring pleasure, desire, the theme of connection, yes, but underneath that is really just about allowing yourself to experience feeling good, right? Detaching from those expectations that the flirt even has to lead to a phone number, a date, this kind of long term, lifelong connection. The reality is, most of the connections we're going to make may be in the moment. They
Mhm.
may last for a reason, a season, maybe a lifetime, but why not just cultivate more connection regardless?
And I 100% agree with that. And I think especially like as a queer person, like this idea of being able to give in to desire and being able to give in to
Mm,
like that ephemeral nature of pleasure.
mm, yeah.
Flirting allows you to like express like your queerness. It allows you to express your like who you are on the inside in such like a
Mm,
bright, vibrant way.
yeah.
And so it's just It's just magical. Flirting is everything.
Yes, because too often this has been my experience is we limit that.
Hmm.
We're almost scared to feel good sometimes,
A
you know?
100%. And like, I think fear is one of those things that we often talk about like having to overcome. But I
Mhm.
think flirting allows you to be scared and do it anyway, right? Because if
Mhm.
you see something that you want, you can
Mhm.
flirt with like the idea, right? And
Mhm.
even if you're scared, like flirting is you're not doing anything. You're just like talking. You're just thinking. You're just writing things down.
Yes. Yes.
And it can be
We're
something really
smiling,
cute.
we're sharing some energy, we're asking some questions, we're being curious, giving some
Exactly.
compliments. Yes, maybe
Nothing
even
better than being curious.
expressing attraction. If you're flirting with someone you think is hot, you can do that too.
Yes. Oh my God, you're so handsome. Look at these big old
Oh,
biceps.
oh my gosh. Have you been noticing? I've been going to the gym. Thank you, Fernie.
Yes.
All right. We got to get to know you a little bit more. How did you get started in this work of astrology?
So this is a long story.
Yeah.
I turned 40 this year, and so we have 40 years to
Woo.
like talk about. I think like the thing that I love to share is
Hmm.
that when I was like 5 or 6, I remember sitting on my grandma's driveway. I grew up in a very, very small town in South Texas, right
Mm-hmm.
on the border of Mexico, like literally almost at the point of where Texas becomes the Gulf of
Hmm.
Mexico, and 14,000 people, little ranch. Like I'm sitting on the
Yeah.
driveway, there's like the mosquitoes buzzing around. And so we have a
Mm.
citronella candle in the middle of like where we're all sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staring into it. And my mom looks at me and she's like, "No, Fernito, like look away, like you're gonna get
Oh.
lost." And I'm like, "Lost where? Like what's gonna happen?" And my grandma's like, "No, déjalo, like let him." And
Uh-huh.
so I continue staring into that citronella candle, and I
Uh-huh.
do get lost a little bit. Like I
Mm-hmm.
enter like this meditative state,
Mm-hmm.
and when I come back, like things look different. I can't describe how. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like this magical realism like became
Mm-hmm.
real.
Okay.
And my one of my tias, one of my aunts was there, and she's like, "Hey, I had this dream like this
Mm-hmm.
other night. What does it mean?" And so I tell her, and she's like, "Yeah, that's exactly it." And then it comes
Mm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
And so from then on, they just started like talking to me about like their dreams. My mom and my grandma would tell me about like different herbs, like why manzanilla chamomile tea is like good for like this or that,
Yeah.
like why you would
Yeah.
use verbena for this, why would you use like all of these other things.
Wow.
And it just like was something that I grew up with. And then I was just fascinated by it for
Yeah.
forever and ever. In high school, like my friends all knew that I was a witch. I am 40, so I grew up with like Buffy and Charmed. And I
Me
was like,
too.
I'm either gonna be Buffy or I'm gonna be
Yes.
Phoebe. One or the other.
We would have been friends in high school, Fernie.
We would have been
Yes,
best
we would
friends.
have, as I'm not far behind you, upon debut of this episode, less than a month until I turn 40.
Well, look at you. We would have been
Wow.
best friends.
We would
Um,
have.
I
I
would
would have
have
been
read your
watching
palm.
Xena and Hercules in the other room. That would have
Oh
been
my
me.
God. I won't do it on this, but if any of you ever want to hear me do the Xena battle cry,
Oh my. Like
yes.
oh no, terrible, terrible impression. It's one of my vocal stems, Fernie, lives rent free in my mind. If I ever zone out, there's a good chance that's what's happening up there.
Or like the Sailor Moon theme song. Also, that's
Oh
like
my
like
gosh.
that's where I'm going, like Sailor
Uh,
Venus.
we grew up, I tell you what, in a fantastic time. I gotta say, the
We
media, the
really did.
culture, we had some true gems.
I mean, I know that everybody thinks that like when they grew up is like
Yes.
it,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, like the 90s, it really did have like the very like we had Clueless,
Oh,
Buffy, we had the best fashion, we had like everything. And
yes.
then look at us, like we grew up to be this gorgeous. No one
Yeah.
would think, looking at either of us, that we are
Uh-huh.
40. When you think of 40, you think of like Darren from Bewitched. And
No.
I'm like, hell no.
Right?
Yes,
Like
it's
something's
crazy.
happening. Is it
I was
people say
pickled.
I was pickled. Oh, good. You have all those healthy probiotics, Fernie. Fantastic.
All of them.
Or was it people say online it was the Flintstones vitamins?
That's exactly what it was.
What was in those Flintstones vitamins to be
The
to
fountain
be
of
sure? I
youth.
don't
Because
know.
look at this skin. Touch this skin.
It's I mean, my finger might catch on fire.
I
It's
mean,
so good, Fernie. No
look,
filters
and then
here.
look at yours, not a pore to be seen. It
Oh my
is the most
goodness.
gorgeous thing.
You have a lot to look forward to if you're younger than 40. It really
Exactly.
starts to get good in some really exciting ways.
Going back to like this idea of being 40 and like, I mean, we can
Yeah.
go back to like who I was, but I think we are able to talk about who we are in a much more detached way. I think when I
Yeah.
was like when I was like 25, when I was 30, like
Mhm.
feeling and talking about who you are feels very fraught because like you're living it and you're becoming it, right?
Yeah.
And now that I actually am 40, it's like, oh, like I love myself. I love who I
Yeah.
am. Like all of these things that I've been through have been,
Yeah.
whatever. And
Mm.
that's who we are. And I think that actually is like probably like the critical part of like my story of becoming an
Uh,
astrologer. At 25, I dated this guy. He was from Monterrey, Mexico. He
uh-huh.
said that he couldn't work because he was from Mexico, even though he had everything that he could to work here.
Mhm.
And so I paid for everything for 5 years. And I was a
Okay.
teacher then, so I wasn't
Mhm.
making like $1 billion. But
Mhm.
I did live like we were living, like we had $1 billion. And so when we
Mhm.
broke up, I was left with $50,000 of debt
Mm.
that I had to pay off like immediately because it was all like
Yeah.
these short term, awful little loans. I was not financially responsible.
Yeah.
And so at the end of like when I would get my paycheck after paying like all of the bills, I was left with $50. And this doesn't count like gas. This doesn't count like
Mm.
food. This doesn't count like anything, right? It's literally
Mm.
$50 like for my life. And I was like, this
Mhm.
just isn't like that. There's no way that you can live off of $50.
Mhm.
So I tapped into my little psychic powers and I became a
Yes.
telephone psychic.
Yes, you
Um,
did.
I
Yes.
did. And I worked at that for like 10-ish years, 12-ish years.
Wow.
And while I was doing that, I also started dating my second boyfriend.
Mhm.
He and I dated for 3 or 4 years. And I was a telephone psychic during this time, but he was
Mhm.
horribly abusive, physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally,
Mm.
financially, very,
Mm.
very just abusive. And so flirting is a right, pleasure is a right. And so like I have
Mhm.
reclaimed this after like that horrendous experience.
Mm.
But when we broke up, I needed something to like heal me, right?
Yeah.
And so at the very tail end of our relationship, I had begun Golden Mirror Fortunes as like a fun little Instagram account.
Uh-huh.
Where I was just like posting like I see these and I cringe like they're like the ugliest pictures ever of like some card and like some weird filter. We have grown, flirty.
Yes.
And when we broke up, I was obviously very just like broken. In June of 2019, there was this pride celebration that was going to be happening here in my hometown of McAllen. And
Mhm.
so me and my sister, we applied to be a part of the market. We got accepted
Okay.
and we began the business. And I remember
Wow.
I was like, is anybody going to show up? Like, does anybody get tarot card readings? Like what actually happens here?
Uh-huh.
And we had a line like wrapped around like the convention booths. Like it was
Wow.
like crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is like a doable thing. We loved it. And so
That's
we started doing
amazing.
markets. We did that for a few years and then we just continued to grow. And then
Uh-huh.
we now have been in Cosmo, Teen Vogue, Texas Monthly.
Wow.
We've just done so much. And I actually got into astrology specifically
Mhm.
because of Texas Monthly.
Mhm.
They reached out. They wanted me to write the yearly horoscopes. Leah Princivelli, I love her. She took a chance on me as an astrologer.
Mhm.
So that's how we
Yes.
became the astrologer that you see before you
Wow.
now.
This
Thank
is,
you.
I got to be honest, I pretty much always ask you this question because it's so fascinating that I'll we have a different conversation every time,
Yeah.
right? And I just learned some brand new things. I don't think I knew about that first market and the
Really?
line, yeah, around the convention center and the moment of looking into the citronella candle at like 10, 11 years old on the driveway and some of your relationship history. Like I've heard bits and pieces of it, but as like a story, that was really fascinating for me to hear. So thank you for sharing more. I want to ask a follow-up question here for any flirty listening that is transitioning out of a relationship that wasn't healthy or was maybe abusive, and how you just started to flirt again, start to reclaim, right, some of that essence, your power, your energy back. What was that experience like?
It was awful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it
Yeah.
and say that it was like easy. Like I woke up the day after we broke up and I was like, yes, I'm free.
Mm.
It took a lot of love, and I was very fortunate to have some people around me who just loved me through it. I think you go through the stages of grief, right? And I remember the stage that I stayed at in the longest was anger. I was angry
Mm.
at myself. I was a school principal. Like I was successful. I like was doing all of these things and I let a
Yeah.
man like destroy me. I was angry at myself and I was angry at
Yeah.
him. Like how
Hmm.
could you do this to someone, you know? And
Yeah.
that anger, I think like really it lingered, and it made everything that I did and everything that I was saying and thinking, it just
Hmm.
soured it. But
Mm.
I think it was through the power of love, like the power of the people loving me through this, that like I was able
Yeah.
to overcome it. And I think like it took probably like a good year or two of just
Mm.
intense like healing and work to get myself through it. But I think like
Yeah.
the thing that is the most powerful thing is that like when I was done with it, I was like, oh my God, like this is I am the phoenix. I am
Mm.
Ishtar rising from like her
Yes.
grave. Like, you know, like we are
Oh,
who we are now. And that's
yeah.
just you know, like I don't wish that on anyone. I don't think that anybody should ever have to go
Sure.
through that to like
Sure.
to grow. And I don't think that like anything that you do has to be like a lesson, but I do no, I'm not grateful that I went through that, but I am like glad that like after going through that, I was able to become this gorgeous creature that you see before you.
Absolutely. We are who we are, right? We're in this moment
Yes.
now together. And so for anyone listening that is maybe going through a similar experience, let us share some love with you. Here you go. Take it
Mhm.
all. It's here for you.
We love
Take that good
you.
flirt energy. Yes.
Yes, and I just want to like name like if you are in a relationship like that, if you are finding yourself in a situation like that, reach out to Ben,
Hmm.
reach out to
Heck
me.
yeah.
We have lots of resources to help you.
Yes.
We don't want for you to be stuck in anything that like is like
Mm-mm.
that. We want to help you because flirting
Yeah,
is about like feeling good for yourself too. And you deserve to feel good.
absolutely. Absolutely. And there are a few episodes of Flirtations that I think will be really helpful. Coming to
Hmm.
mind around like 48, 49, another one around 97 about this kind of healing from those abusive relationships, which are really hard to let go of in
Yes.
many ways. And also that anger phase, like it's an emotion so many of us bypass, especially people pleaser types. This has been
Hmm.
me just in a lot of my own healing with mental health and past relationships, like feeling that guilt, that shame, but that anger, right? How could someone treat me in a way that I would never do that to them? And then how could I have allowed myself to stay?
Hmm.
I know.
It's such an awful like feeling to be angry at yourself like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's normal and it's valid.
Yeah.
But also like I think it is one of the great teachers about like
Yeah.
flirting in that like, you know what, I'm not gonna allow this to happen again.
Yeah.
This is who I am and I trust myself and I love myself enough
Yeah.
to not like let myself get this angry again because I'm not gonna let
Absolutely.
somebody make me this angry again.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something. We're going to get to all the stuff, Flirties, I promise. The tarot card pull, the astrology is coming, but this is good. I want to cuz you mentioned this, like not everything has to be a learning lesson, or that we have to somehow, oh, I made this mistake, I made that choice, so now like what can I do different or better in the future? Like I think we can really get caught in always finding the meaning in things, what's the learning lesson, versus just accepting what happened. Doesn't mean we are okay with what happened, but we can't change the past. And so how can we be here in the moment and then move forward? And I recently listened to an interview. Do you listen to the Good Hang podcast with Amy Poehler?
I don't, but I did listen to
Okay.
the conversation that you had with Aubrey Plaza about grief.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that one was so good. The one I'm thinking of was with Judge Judy,
Okay.
that just came out fairly recently. And it was so interesting where, Amy was asking Judge Judy a lot of these questions about like, what have you learned right at this stage of your life? Kind of like, how was being in the public eye? And a lot of those kind of life kind of questions. And what Judge Judy said was like, she's not a thinker, she's just
Hmm.
a decision maker. She doesn't ruminate. She doesn't really think about the past. She just accepts what is and then moves on. And I was like, what? You mean you could do that? This is crazy to me. Like here, I always, right, because I grew up as probably you did, at least watching Judge Judy on reruns or
Hmm.
something, right? She was always on TV, one of the most successful TV personalities of all time when those judge shows, those daytime courtroom shows were, I mean, gosh, how many of them were there? And yet Judge Judy was like the OG, you know?
Yeah.
And hear her talking about herself and that she doesn't describe herself as a thinker, as an intellectual. She just is very practical. And I'm like, actually, I see how that served you very well in your career. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating interview, but I just wanted to I was thinking about what you said because I think we often get caught up in always searching for their learning lesson. Yeah.
I think like the thing about that for me, and I think like the thing that like I especially any of you who are experiencing abuse,
Mm.
but anybody that's just going through any tough time, like I think like sometimes there's like this toxic positivity or this like spiritual
Mm.
bypassing that happens that's like
Yeah.
you're going through this, but there's a lesson to be learned. And it's like,
Mm.
no, like I don't like no, like this is
I'm
awful.
good. Yeah.
Like you don't need to like go through these things to learn these lessons, and it's not like a spiritual test or like a fortitude thing that like you are abused. Like no, like abuse is awful, and
Yeah.
there doesn't have to be a lesson that you're learning about by
Yeah.
being abused. You can take what you went through and you can like grow from it and you can like learn about yourself more, but
Mm.
it like the abuse wasn't good and you learned a lesson, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and I think like that is just something that like I mean, you know me and my soapbox about fate and like all of these things.
Oh,
And like I
I'm
just
here
think like that's
for it
like
all.
another thing, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right, Fernie. Now let's flirt with the stars.
Yay.
And how about our tarot card pull?
I
What
would
have
love
you
for us to
got? This is completely random, as behind Fernie, you have an array of tarot cards, but who
hello.
knows what is going to happen? I don't even know.
Let's see what
Mm.
the card is.
All right.
All right, flirties, close your eyes and take a deep
Yes, I
breath.
love this part. Yes. Okay.
Fill yourself with your own energy.
Hmm.
Fill yourself with your hopes and your dreams and your fears and your worries. Fill yourself with all of the things that make you you. And I want for you to gently open your eyes again and let's hear this message. Let's see what the card is for this
Mm.
season.
All right. Drum roll, but instead of the drum roll, it's just the Xena Warrior Princess scream.
Let me get my
Okay.
chakram.
Let's go.
Speaking of warrior princess, we have the Knight
Oh
of
my gosh,
Swords.
how is that so apropos? All right.
It really is. And the Knight of Swords is about charging after what it is that like you think, you know, you believe to be like the right thing to do. The Knight of Swords isn't somebody that hesitates, isn't somebody that overthinks, isn't somebody that has any doubt, sometimes to their detriment. But they're
Mm,
like, no, like this is the thing that I need to be doing. This is the path that I am going to be walking. This is where I'm going to be going. And
mm,
they charge after it. And thinking about like from the equinox all the way up until Samhain until Halloween, like thinking about these
mm-hmm,
6 weeks, there is a lot of astrology that is just centered around release and centered
mm.
around like revolutionary like thinking and centered around like just like finding the heat. And I think the
Okay.
Knight of Swords is encouraging you to really think, what does my brain say that I need to be doing and how do I go after it? How do I allow myself to be filled with this like gorgeous energy that is going to
Okay.
say like whether this is right or not, I'm going to do it and I'm going to figure it out at the end. And I think like
Okay.
that can just be a really powerful thing.
Mm. I love this energy for the coming season, the Knight of Swords.
It is
Yes.
gorgeous. It's also tied to air. And as
Okay.
you know, we are beginning your favorite season,
Oh my gosh, Libra
Libra season.
season, the
And Libra is
flirtiest
an air
season
sign.
of them all. They're all flirty,
Well,
but the
no, I think
Libra.
Libra is act like I mean, like if I were to assign like the flirtiest sign,
Yeah.
I'm a Gemini. I think Gemini can give you a little like competition, but
Heck
Libras
yes.
really are like the flirtiest of signs.
I wonder why is that?
So I can tell you.
Yeah, why is that, Fernie?
Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus
Okay.
is the planet of like flirting, of love, of beauty. Libra really wants harmony, and I think like one of the things that flirting really does for us is it allows us to be in harmony with someone else. It allows for us to
Mm,
find that harmony that someone else is looking for, and we're able to give it to them. We're able to shine that light onto them. We're able to help them see who they are and see how beautiful they are. And
mm,
Libras do that just naturally. Like that's what a Libra wants. A Libra wants for
yeah.
you to feel that. And as the sign of the balance, as the sign of like something that is creating this balance, flirting
Mm,
is about like that dance of balance, right? Like, how do I make you feel
mm-hmm.
good while feeling good myself? How do I
Yeah.
allow for us to be in and out of this gorgeousness that I think is just really beautiful?
Yeah.
And so it's just the flirtiest of signs because it appreciates beauty, it appreciates harmony, and it's ruled by Venus.
Yeah, you definitely describe me. I do want people to feel good and
Yes,
try
you
and
do.
reflect back their own energy, their own light, even if they're not
Mhm.
really feeling particularly energetic or light that day. Let's see if I can make them feel better. But
And
then
you
in the
do.
process,
That's exactly what you do. Whether it's
yes.
yoga or flirting, you
Yeah.
make people feel great about themselves.
I mean, yoga or flirting, what's the difference at this point for me? I don't even know.
There isn't
But
any with
I
me.
no. But I tend to feel better about myself in the process too. Like this is how I get a lot of my energy besides coffee and sugar is I'll go out and have conversations, right? I'm definitely the person that kind of extroverted introvert where it can sometimes be hard to leave my apartment, to get up off my chair, to get out of my like super comfy clothes, but just getting out there, right? Sharing some energy
100%.
because I get that in return. Yeah. All right, let's do just a quick little recap to ground us here. So we're going to be talking about some signs, perhaps the big three. If you're unsure what that is, after this, go all the way back to episode 2 of Flirtations with Fernie, where we share how to identify your big three, how you can take a very kind of short assessment for free, figure all of that out, at least get some basics there. So what are our big three? Our sun, our rising, our moon. Yeah.
I just got so excited. I didn't realize. I guess I had forgotten that I was like episode 2.
Yes.
And now look
Yes.
at us. Oh my
And fun
gosh.
fact, episode 2, but you were the first ever episode I recorded.
Really?
Yes, the first ever one, and I'll never forget. You were on my calendar, and I was so nervous, I canceled on you. I was like, I can't do it. I'm not ready. But we rescheduled. You were the first one, yes, first episode to ever be recorded, and then became the second ever episode. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it so much. That makes my heart
Hmm.
so happy. Look at
Yeah, and here
us.
we are
Look at us
collaborating.
now.
I've
Who would
lost
have
count at
thought?
this point. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, flirties. So if you're wondering about your big three, so the big three are your sun, your moon, and your
Hmm.
rising.
Hmm.
Your sun is the sign that like most people already know. This is the one that's like what you're going to be reading your horoscope on. It's like the one that has like your birth date in it. It's perfectly like aligned with what it is that most
Yeah.
of us know. The
Yeah.
sun rules like our outward persona, the way that like we project light, the way that we like are shining most brightly. And so this is why most
Mm.
people can identify a lot with like their sun sign. Like I know that Ben, you definitely associate very much beautifully with your Libra sign.
Libra. Yeah.
Exactly. And as a Gemini, I love to talk, I love to charm. We can associate ourselves with these really fun signs. Next, we have our moon sign. And our moon sign is going to be the thing that really is determining like our emotions and our bodies, like the way that our bodies are feeling, the way that our hearts are feeling. Because the moon
Okay.
changes sign sometimes like 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes it'll be in the same sign for 2 or 3 days, but it's moving quickly. So it's about like the
Okay.
ways that our bodies and our spirits, our like hearts,
Mm-hmm.
like go through various things.
Mm-hmm.
um for example, my moon is in Pisces, and so like I tend to be very psychic, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also like just love connecting with people, but my
Mm-hmm.
energy can dip in and out. Like I can be very social one minute, and then like I can need to go and like
Ah.
retreat into my watery cave the next, right? And then we have our rising. And your rising is actually the sign that is most you.
Okay.
It's like what determines your entire chart. And so it's
Okay.
like your first house. And the first house is like who you are. And
Yeah.
so sometimes people will say like that they don't feel like a Sagittarius or they won't feel like a Scorpio or whatever. And it might be because their first house, their rising sign, is just
Hmm.
something like very antithetical to that energy. And so they're
Okay.
they're like finding that like balance. They're finding that like movement between those two in a
Hmm.
way that just isn't always easy for them. So my
Yeah.
rising is Capricorn, and you know
Okay.
that I'm a business-minded bitch, and so like this is where that Capricorn comes in. I'm disciplined, I can be focused, I know what it is that I
Uh-huh.
want and that ambition. But that's very difficult for like a Piscean moon who just wants to flow and be
Oh,
connective. And then my
yes.
Gemini sun is like, let me like flirt around everywhere. Let me like just flit like a hummingbird. And so like it can be sometimes tough. And then I think like that's how those three can really play into it.
Okay.
If you're looking to find out what your big three are, I encourage you to go to Chani Nicholas's website. She's my
Yes.
favorite little website for finding your chart, and it's free and it's easy. And you can reach out to Lisa Stardust. She does chart readings all the time, or you can reach out to me as well. And
Yes.
any of us would love to be able to read for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fernie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have that link in the show notes below for the episode. And of course, your links as well for any of the flirties that are curious. My big three: sun, no surprise, is Libra, moon is Scorpio, and rising is Taurus. Those
Very
are,
sensual, very
yes.
sexy, very body-minded.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense. Like
Yes.
100% sense. Like I can see all of that in you so
It's all
gorgeously.
it is all it is all in me. What's that? What's that song by Whitney Houston? It's all in
It's
Oh my god.
all I'm every
Oh my gosh.
woman.
As we go from Xena to Whitney, I mean, just a
We're
millennial
very
fever
gay.
dream over here today, and very homosexual as well. Yes. All right. Now into the depths of our astrological horoscope. Coming back to the King of Swords, there are two themes, are really, I think, three themes I'm picking up on. Desire, which we mentioned in the beginning, but then also these themes of overthinking, balance with decision making, and yet balance, right? Finding
Yep.
the balance in our lives. I think we oftentimes, this has been true for me, we live in those extremes, right? Oh, I'm not going to feel any pleasure. I don't deserve any desire. So I'm just going to feel nothing. Or I'm just going to like focus on just work, or just kind of stay in my house or stay in my apartment, or just focus on right the healing, right? Maybe I'm falling into that toxic positivity, like always finding needing to find the lesson, something like that, the
Hmm.
kernel of truth. And so how can we flirt with, play with these energies this coming season?
Yep. I think like the what I'm gonna start with like where I think like we're starting right now, right?
Okay.
And what is happening right now in the stars when this episode is gonna be coming out, like in September, late September, mid to late September.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Venus has just moved into Virgo. And
Okay.
so Venus rules like love, it rules beauty, it rules flirting, as we talked about. Virgo is two things. One, it's very service minded, but two,
Okay.
it's very like organized and it's very critical, but not like it can be in a bad way, but it's also just like critical in that like I want for things to be perfect. And I
Yeah.
think like what Venus and Virgo does, speaking of that balance that you're talking about, it allows us to figure out like how can I show love through service?
Mm-hmm.
How can I make routines and rituals that allow me to be filled with love? And how can I
Mm.
also be really critical of like the practices that I have that
Mm-hmm.
either push me or don't push me into
Mm.
love? And when I
Okay.
think of the Knight of Swords, when I think of like charging ahead, Virgo doesn't
Mm.
love charging ahead. Virgo wants for things to be perfect. She sweeps the path in front of the Knight of Swords. And I
Yes.
actually think that's what we need to be doing. Like, we need to be sweeping the path in front of
Oh,
us so we
okay.
can make it easy to move forward. So it can be easy for our
Mm.
desires to happen. How much
Okay.
easier is it to love yourself if, like, you go to bed at a decent hour, you put your phone away, you wake
Mm.
up, and like you go for your morning walk where you're like being in awe of the sunrise, right?
Yeah.
How
Mm-hmm.
much easier is it to like
Mm.
find love if you're not like putting yourself through the ringer every day and
Mm.
not following through with like your journaling practice or your sewing practice or whatever practice you have? Like,
Yeah.
how much easier is love
Mm.
going to find like fertile soil
Yeah.
if you let yourself serve yourself and have those routines that are
Yeah.
going to make it, flourish? And I
Right.
think like that's what Virgo is doing with this Knight of Swords. It's like sweeping the path ahead of it and
Uh,
saying, you can go down here. Just give me a couple of
okay.
seconds to make this super clean and super perfect for you.
Uh, this is good for me to hear. Why are you calling me out, Fernie?
I
I've
call
really,
everyone out. That's why I'm your favorite fortune teller.
I've really fallen off on just a lot of those practices, even if I don't do them every day, right? The things I'm going to do before bed or when I'm waking up, right? Some of the journaling, some of the just not being on my phone until like I'm bleary eyed. I can barely hold my eyes open anymore. Like kind of that setting yourself up for the next day, the next flirt, the next date, whatever, right? Doing a little bit of that preparedness maybe to remove some of those obstacles that may come.
100%. And I think like that can be really tough to do. I think it can be really
Mm,
hard for people to recognize that love needs something on which to grow. Like love doesn't
mm,
just happen like de la nada, like as we say, like it doesn't just happen from nothing. Like
right,
love
right.
needs a soil, love needs care, love needs a
Yeah,
garden in which it can be really beautiful, really gorgeous, really powerful. Because
yeah,
if you just like let it just, if you don't take care of your garden, it's not going to flourish. And that's
right.
what I think Venus and Virgo is teaching us, that you need to be able to like put that garden in the right place. You need to water it, you need to take care of it, you need to prune it in order
Yes.
for it to grow.
Which is what you were doing before we hit record today.
That's why I think it's in my head.
Tending your literal garden.
I was. And I think all of you should tend to
Yes.
your own little gardens too.
Yeah, this is reminding me. Are you on the curriculum side of TikTok, which is a new trend I'm seeing?
What is the correct? No,
It's
I am
so
not.
interesting. I think it's been around for perhaps a little bit, but I'm just catching on to it. Where I there's a bunch of creators that are creating these curriculum videos, where at the start of every month they give themselves a curriculum,
Oh,
right?
wow.
What they want to focus on for the coming month. Usually, there's a list, there's a stack of books, there's a whole full multitude of interests that they want to explore, maybe new hobbies, passions, something like that, and basically giving themselves a curriculum. And then at the end of the month, they do a check-in, right? How did I do? What was this about? Like, what did I learn about myself, just about the world, about life? Could be anything, and it's not really about anyone else. It's not necessarily externally focused about dating or even about flirting.
Mhm.
It's really about you and pouring back into your own cup.
I love this. This is perfect. Yes, do this. Make your own
Yes.
curriculums.
Yes.
If
Okay.
that is part of your practice, if that feels good to you, make your
Yes.
curriculums. And like I think like that is what Venus and Virgo wants us to do. That's how Venus and Virgo wants us to show up. I love this.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Should we get into, are there any events like big dates coming up this season that
Yep.
we should be paying attention to?
100%, you know that
What are
there
they?
are.
What are they, Fernie? Give us a
um
heads up.
Yep, I think like there are quite a few. I had to make my own
Okay.
little list because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget them. The first big event is September 22nd
Okay.
is when Libra season starts. This year
Woohoo!
it starts a
Yes.
little bit late. Typically it starts on the 20th or the 21st, but this year it's
Mm-hmm.
starting the 22nd. And Libra season, as we talked about, Libra is all about flirting. Libra is all about like finding that harmony, that beauty, all of that goodness. And so spend Libra
Yes.
season flirties just filling yourself with all of the gorgeousness and symmetry and beauty that you can. The
Yes. Okay.
other really cool thing that happens on the 22nd is that Mars moves into Scorpio. I
Okay.
love Mars in Scorpio. Mars is the
Mm.
traditional ruler of Scorpio. Not anymore, now it's Pluto. But in traditional astrology, Mars rules Scorpio. So it's already
Mm-hmm.
like feeling very powerful there. But Mars is like and speaking of flirting, Mars is like a planet of like heat, of passion, of sex.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Scorpio is also very
Uh-huh.
sexy. So when
Mm-hmm.
Mars like swings its sword into Scorpio, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how do I flirt with everything around me? Like, how do I
Yes.
find this heat? Like, how do I make this very hot moment? And how do
Okay.
I like just
Ooh.
exude sexiness? How do I smolder with
Ooh.
my eyes? And so I
Mm.
want for us to be spending the next few
Mm.
weeks as Mars is in Scorpio,
Mm.
channeling our very best smoldering stare and just like
Okay.
flirting with everyone and wanting for everybody to be around us and hot and fun. So I love
Oh
this.
my gosh, you had me at smolder, you had me at flirt. I love all of that. I mean, we could practice a little bit of that right now. You could do the flirt double take, right? So you make that eye contact, you take it away. Oh my God, I'm not looking at you anymore. And then you bring it right back, right? A little head tilt, a little bit of that side eye, chin down, head up kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Some movement, make the expression, pair it with a smile. Right. This is one that I love. Like, that's if you're more stationary, but you could do one where you're out and about somewhere and you kind of walk past someone and look at them as you're walking past them. And then as you walk past them in a moment, maybe you're on the way to the bathroom, the bar, whatever, you turn around, look back, and then just keep going on about your merry way, right? Let them think about you for a moment. And then, yeah, maybe you go strike up a conversation, say hello, introduce yourself. I love it.
I love it. That is, look at you with the
Yes.
flirting tips. I'm going to use all of
It's
these.
who is that? Who is she? Who is he? Who is
Why,
them?
why are they
We don't
looking at
know.
me? Why are
Oh
they,
my
what is that
gosh.
smile? What do they know that I
Oh.
don't know?
And now I'm overthinking, but not with the Knight of Swords. We're making a decision.
You're making a
We're getting out of
decision.
our heads
You're
and
sweeping the
into the
path in front
flirt.
of you.
Oh, with Virgo energy, all of it. Okay, this has been wow. Just glancing down at the clock, these conversations always go so fast. But what else? What
Yep.
else should we know about this coming season? Is there anything else you want to share with the
Let me
flirties?
share a few dates in October.
Okay.
October 4th, speaking of sweeping, Venus joins the South Node, and the South Node releases Venus is
Mm,
love. Sweep away any of those relationships that are not serving you anymore. Get rid of any of like
okay.
that past memories that like you can get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Flirties, put this date with a big ol' heart on your calendar. October 8th, Venus
Okay.
sextiles Jupiter.
Okay.
Love expands, your garden grows, the
Oh boy.
roses bloom.
Uh-huh.
Go out and flirt. I know it's like a Monday or a Tuesday, I think. Um,
That's all right. Yeah.
Go and find the happy hour and give those
Uh-huh.
smoldering glances. Um,
Yes.
October 13th, Venus moves into Libra. So
Oh,
Venus
my
rules Libra.
favorite.
It's
I already know I'm
gorgeous.
gonna love this. Yes.
It is perfection. So Mars is going to be in Scorpio, Venus is going to be in Libra. October 13th, allow yourself to just have so much gorgeousness, so much fun. Go
Okay.
into your May West little
Mm-hmm.
ways and flirt your way
Mm-hmm.
all the way around. I love it.
Okay.
And then,
Fantastic. And then not long after that, Fernie, on the 15th, that's my birthday.
well, there you, and you know what? On the 14th, so the 13th, we have that. The 14th,
Yeah.
we have Venus doing some fun things with Pluto and Uranus, and then it's your birthday. Your birthday is going to
Uh-huh.
be explosive. It's going to be
Oh dear.
super fun. It is going to be
Okay.
like the confetti glitter poppers.
Okay.
You are going to have, I don't think you should plan on wearing much clothes
Uh,
on the 15th.
feel like I feel like I could honor that request,
Wear leather
Fernie.
shorts,
Yes.
wear your boots, wear like a little vest, make it
All right, I got to
happen.
add to my list. Get leather shorts. I've always wanted a pair, to be honest. Now's my opportunity for my 40th. Yes,
Oh my God, yes, you
Why not
need
bringing in
to.
some leather shorts with Venus? Sounds good to me.
It's gonna be, and it's happening right before your birthday. So you're gonna be like
Mm,
feeling that energy so
yeah,
gorgeously. I love
yeah.
it. It's beautiful.
I love that me. I love that for me. I love that for everybody else as well.
Hmm.
All right. Before we wrap up, we've been doing this as of late on these episodes. How about a mantra for
Yep.
the coming season? Maybe an affirmation, something along those lines for the flirties.
Yep. I sweep the path ahead of me so that love can grow.
All
Right?
right. I sweep the path ahead of me so that love can grow. I can get on board with that 100%.
I just think that that is perfect Venus and Virgo energy. We
Oh,
need to sweep the path so that love
all
can have
right.
a place to flourish.
All right. There you have it, flirties. Your mantra for the coming season. What's coming for our flirts, our dates, our love lives, our relationships, and the relationship we have with ourselves. Maybe the most important one. Fernie, thank you so much for being back on the show today. This was great.
I loved it so much. Flirties, I want to let you know if you're looking at your own individual little horoscopes for this next season, go to my website,
Hmm.
goldenmirrorfortunes.com. We're going to
Yes.
have your Sabbath horoscopes up, and I want for you
Yes.
to know exactly how it's going to impact you and your gorgeousness. I love this.
Amazing. And I'll have your links in the show notes for this episode. Of course, are you accepting new clients,
I
Fernie, if
am
they want to reach
always
out to you?
Please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on
Okay.
my website, goldenmirrorfortunes.com, or you
Yes.
can find us on Instagram. However, it is that you need to reach out to me, find me, and I will make sure that we get you a reading because I want for you to be filled with love, my loves.
All right, I will send all the flirties your way. Congratulations just on everything,
Thank you
Fernie. The
so
success, the
much.
growth of your business, entering this 40th season of life. I love it. I can't wait till we chat again.
I can't wait to see you in your 40s. Oh my God, sisters.
All right, flirties, you've got some homework perhaps. Get your big three, know what those are. Check out episode 2. And if you want to listen to more conversations just like this with Fernie and myself, so many of those right here on Flirtations, whatever platform you're listening on or watching on. Fernie, thanks for being here.
I loved it. Los quiero mucho, mis amores. Mwah. Bye, everyone.